The party structure provides us with a method of holding our elected representatives accountable. Tell us about any public offices you have held and your involvement and history in the Republican Party.
I'm first.
You are first.
Go ahead, Erik.
All right, so I have been a Republican precinct committeeman now for right about 14 years. I've been involved in the party, helping candidates get elected, and helping hold candidates accountable. Candidates forums like this, when you got candidates here wanting your vote, they will tell you things. You will hear candidates say who will tell you things that they are not going to follow through on. Hold them accountable to that. When you have candidates tell you something, and then they go back on their word, call them out on it. The videos from today are going to be posted. All the different forums today are going to be posted online. Once something's online, it's there forever. Call them out on it. If you have to send them the video and say, hey, you said you were going to do this, and then they do the opposite, send them the video and say, hey, what happened? What changed? Hold them accountable. That's where it has to start. If we're going to hold our elected officials accountable, we have to have the courage to step up and say, that's not what you're elected to do. That's not what you said you were going to do. It's our job as citizens to hold them accountable. And so the party structure is a great way for that to happen. We as a party support good candidates. We give you voters the opportunity to hear from those candidates so that you know who to vote for in the primary. Because if you don't vote for good candidates in the primary, you can't vote for good candidates in the general. You're not going to get good candidates from the other side of the aisle. So you've got to support the good Republicans in the primary if you want to have good elected officials.
As I mentioned before, I'm not a politician, but years ago I did dibble in it. I ran for alderman in the town I grew up in. I took a third of the votes away from the gentleman that was in there for 30 years. Came to McHenry, kind of stayed dormant, but I always wanted to know who my elected official was going to be working for me. And in the last 7 years, I looked up one, happened to have a fundraiser. I emailed them and said, hey, you going to have anything for us poor folks? I'd like to know who I want to elect and have work for me. From that point on, well, here I stand before you, amongst great people like Erik and Pam, that we're all vying for the same thing, to work for you, the citizens of McHenry County. Thank you.
Way back in 1994, I was appointed city clerk of McHenry. I ran for mayor in 2001 and won that election. I was appointed to the state Senate seat in 2003 and maintained that position until I retired in September of 2018. I ran for county board and was honored and privileged to be elected, and I have served in that capacity for the last 4 years. What I've done in the Republican Party is I too have served as precinct committeeman. I have been very much engaged in fundraising opportunities and events like this. I've written checks, which is extraordinarily important as well. And I have mentored a lot of future Republican candidates and office holders, which I think is extraordinarily important, particularly through the campaign process and once they take office. It's not as easy as they think because unfortunately government does have rules and does have processes that you need to follow. And we always have to remember that the power isn't in one individual. The power is in the body, the government body working together and creating good policies on your behalf and on our community's behalf. So those are my background.
Thank you.